Yeah, this is what you net. So this is what they're actually making after all of their taxes and penalties and everything else is paid. Their net income was $69.3 million, or 78 cents per diluted share. I don't know what diluted share means, but that's what they said, so we're putting it on that. But that's compared to $41.2 million, or 46 cents per diluted share in the fourth quarter of 2018. That's a huge increase as well. And this increase was primarily driven...
Isn't there less diluted share now that Vince sold all those stock?
Well, we're talking about 2019, not 2020.
Okay.
2019, not 2020.
Okay.
This increase was primarily driven by improved operating performances, partially offset by the impact of the financial lease related to the company's new headquarters. So basically, improved operating performance means that they found ways to cut back on spending money and bring in more profit. But the reason it wasn't bigger than it would have been, and from 41.2 to 69.3 is a huge jump.
Yeah.
But it would have been bigger yet if they had not bought this new company headquarters. So apparently they had the money to buy the new company headquarters because they still netted this much more. So good for them. They're still making good moves.
Mm-hmm. And now for the fun part, the media.
The only one anyone cares about.
Yep, the only part that matters to us. During the quarter, WWE continued to make progress on strategic initiatives, leveraging platforms and partners to expand the reach of its brand and talent. The company successfully transitioned SmackDown to Fox broadcast, where viewership increased by 20% over the prior year period. Maintained the highest-rated program on USA Network with Monday Night Raw, and increased its live in-ring television programming schedule to 7 hours with the airing of NXT on USA.
Can I just say, holy shit, 7? When I read that, I was like, is it 7 fucking hours?
Yes.
7 fucking hours. That sounds ridiculous when you say, and that's not including pay-per-views.
No.
Or specials or any of that stuff.
Saudi shows.
Yeah.
Ooh. With the exception of Monday Night Football, Monday Night Raw and Friday Night SmackDown were the number one rated Monday night cable and Friday night broadcast programs respectively, among the coveted adults 18 to 49 demographic in the quarter.
Now that last sentence is fucking huge.
Yep, that's everything.
Huge. That means more people are watching WWE than they are watching anything else except for Monday Night Football. And Monday Night Football is...
It's waning too, isn't it?
It is waning, but it's also not yearly.
Yeah.
So it's like, holy shit, that means everybody's fucking watching this shit. That's huge. That's fucking huge. You can say what you want about broadcast television and cable television not being what it used to be, and I'm the first preacher of that, and I believe that.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, there's still a lot of people that do it. There's still a ton of options. And the fact that Raw and SmackDown are the number one on their brand of broadcasting on their nights in what advertisers are willing to pay for, the 1849 demographic, that solidifies them as not only the number one wrestling program, the number one entertainment provider on television, hands down.
Which is a dying brand, but yes,
it is. But it's still the only brand that you can really
yep
measure at this
ratings
time.
Really don't matter because the ratings go down, but it's still number one.
That means the ratings are going down everywhere. Yes,
yeah,
that means that medium is dying 100%.
So people need to stop paying
I'm
attention
behind
to that. Really.
No, that just means you have to add other things into it.
Yeah.
You know, if you'd look at YouTube
streaming
views,
and DVR and all that.
I can guarantee you WWE gets more YouTube views than any other wrestling station. AEW, or MLW, NWA, none of them are getting
pop
half as
of
much.
Views within hours.
Streaming, I can guarantee you WWE's streaming service gets more than Ring of Honor's streaming service and New Japan's streaming service. So, yeah, I would still say WWE is still owning the media section of everything. The entertainment section of pro wrestling.
Well, from what I heard overall, WWE Network numbers have been dropping in the last year. People
Oh, we haven't even gotten to that, have we?
Okay, no. I wasn't sure if it was included, but you brought up streaming, so I figured it was necessary to speak on.
Oh my gosh.
But with that, we've covered the quarter, so now let's back it up and get your full year 2019 highlights. That's right, we're going to do it all over again with a larger scope.
So, we're getting into revenues again, Pasty. For the whole year of 2019, revenues increased 3% to $960.4 million, the highest in the company's history. So even for the whole year, they still had a record-breaking money-making year, Pasty. So
yeah,
they
but once
are.
you get so big, it just snowballs. You can kind of count on that almost every year.
That's good, though, right?
Yeah.
As far as a business, a company, that's what you want.
I wish my life could do that.
It increased 3%. So last year, it was 3% less. But hello, give me 3% of $960.4 million, and I'll be happy as shit.
Yeah.
I'm not arguing. That was primarily driven by the escalation of core content rights fees, as we said in the media segment. Again, mostly Fox and Saudi Arabia. That was the biggest part of it. The thing that especially Saudi Arabia, a lot of us have guffawed at, and I stand behind it. But the Fox thing was definitely well worth it.
Yes.
The growth was partially offset by lower live event ticket sales, similar as the fourth quarter. In fact, 56 fewer events and lower average attendance. So there was actually 56 fewer live events this whole year.
Yes.
That includes house shows.
It's mostly
and that can also include less pay-per-views if there were less pay-per-views.
Yeah, because they were doing them every 2 weeks, remember?
Yeah, I don't remember because I still wasn't watching, but yeah. There was a decline in WWE Network subscription revenue. The absence of the Mixed Match Challenge on Facebook took a little chunk out of the pocketbook as well.
I wonder why they stopped doing that, because it wouldn't be difficult to produce it, and people did watch it. We always covered it, so there was always some interest.
Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't interested in it, but we did cover it because other people are interested, so not sure. Maybe it wasn't worth the money they were putting into it, despite what the money they were getting out of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's hard to do it when male and female talent can't really interact with each other.
Well, I actually remember the last one they had, wasn't there like 3 major injuries that really shook everything up? Yeah. So I think that probably was part of it. It left a bad taste in their mouth, like, oh, fuck.
And it is. It's unnecessary risk for talent. So I get it.
Yeah, I get it.
Just like the house shows, I completely understand taking them off the board, too.
Hey, that was the first thing Eric Bischoff did to try to make WCW profitable, was eliminate house shows. And obviously he made them profit for the first time ever, let alone the most profitable wrestling organization at one period of time.
Yes. Now we'll move on to the operating income, which increased to $116.5 million from $114.5 million. As the growth in revenue and reduced management incentive compensation associated with the company's full-year performance was partially offset by increases in other fixed costs, including the impact of certain strategic investments to support content creation, the firing of George Barrios and Williams.
Well, and again, that happened after this. That happened in 2020, so that actually didn't affect this. But one thing that stood out to me, and I don't know if folks listening at home caught this this set of words or this phrase, but this was huge and it surprised me. It says reduced management incentive compensation associated with company's full-year performance. That means that the bigwigs, the top guys in management, actually got less of a percentage of the company's profits this year. So good for WWE.
I still want to see Vince's tax return.
That's a different thing. But the fact that any major company like this is willing to take money back away from management and put it into somewhere else it's huge. It's something all companies need to be doing.
Yes. You don't need to be making that much money. Nobody needs to be making that much money.
No. And so that just really stood out to me that, wow, okay. So part of what happened was reduced management incentive compensation associated with companies' performance.
Watch.
That's
he
huge.
just started paying Barrios and Williams less, and he gave himself a slight raise, but it's still offset enough that he could make this claim.
That wouldn't surprise me. And again, smart business move.
Yep.
Net income, we move into Pasty. Net income decreased to $77.1 million. That's 0.85 per diluted shares from $99.6 million in the prior year. So the whole year, their net income has actually decreased by a decent amount.
Yeah.
But this was primarily due to the impact of the finance lease related to the company's new headquarters, as we talked about, as well as a higher effective tax rate in the current year. So as they made more money, they broke into another super millionaire conglomerate tax bracket that now they're paying more in taxes as well.
It's funny, I thought Trump flipped that in their benefit.
I'm sure I'm sure Vince McMahon, the person, is getting a good chunk of that back, Pasty, trust me. George Barrios and old, what's her name's probably getting a decent amount back in their severance package as well.
Definitely.
They walked away from this fucking doing good, trust me.
Yeah, they're not hurting. They'll be set for the rest of their lives.
They walked away carrying bags with a dollar sign on it, dripping hundreds.
Wouldn't that be funny if they went to AEW?
Yes, it'd be funny in theory. No, in practice it wouldn't, because we definitely don't want the presidents of WWE bringing AEW down. They're such a different product. I would not want those kind of minds in charge. But yes, in theory, it'd be awesome.
That brings us to the stock market. The company returned $120.8 million to shareholders in 2019, including $83.4 million in share repurchases and $37.4 million in dividends paid.
Why haven't we bought into these fuckers?
I don't know. They're low now. We should.
They're the lowest they've ever been. We need to get into it before they get back up to 100, which they will.
And then sell that shit. Under the company's existing stock repurchase program, nearly 1.4 million shares were repurchased at an average price of $59.67 per share.
Damn. And some people own how many shares,
Right.
Thousands of shares.
Yep.
At an average of 59.67. Remember, at one point it was 100 something.
Mm-hmm.
God. Golly. I don't even know what to say. Moving on into the media. Again, the only thing most people really actually give a shit about most of this. Media increased by $59.7 million or 9% to $743.1 million. Primarily, this was due to contractual escalations of core rights fees for the company's flagship programs Raw and SmackDown. Again, Fox really had a huge deal on this. The revenue growth was partially offset by a decline in WWE Network subscriptions. This is kind of what Pasty was getting at earlier.
Yes.
That reflected a 6% decline in average paid subscribers to 1.55 million, as well as a decline in, quote, other media revenues with the absence of Mixed Match Challenge on Facebook Watch, as well as others.
Tout.
And Tout. Boy, they took a dive on Tout. Now, I did after all this, I did a little digging, Pasty. Fat Mac is into numbers. I love 83 Weeks with Eric Bischoff because he gets so much into the business of it, and I think a lot of folks don't dig it, and that's part of why I even gave the disclaimer when we got into this. It's like, if you don't dig it, I don't want you to listen to it. But Fat Mac actually is into the business end of some of this shit. I did a little extra digging and found some information on that was specifically network related, Pasty. You want to bring us into this a little bit?
Yeah. The WWE Network had 1.389 million paid subscribers at the end of 2019 with 70,000 free subs for a total of 1.459 million subscribers. The total number of paid subscribers was down 9% from 2018, while total subscribers were down 6.6%.
So a noticeable amount down, a lot more than you would want to have at this
It's
point.
nice to see a chunk of the WWE universe sticking true to their words and canceling their subscriptions due to the Saudi shows. And I think that's where it comes to the most. I think that's where their subscribers are down the most.